Oh, well, hello there, everybody. There's three key principles that can look at when discussing the future of Sage 300. Sage is focused on making the system web deployed. So you've probably seen in the past a lot of web screens becoming available, and Sage is working hard at uh, doing those enhancements, and we'll be looking at some of them here in a minute. There's also a very continuous process of making sure that the technology stack is on stuff that will support us long term in the future in compliance with a lot of initiatives put forth by the various technology partners. For instance, email support and changes from Microsoft that came out a couple of years ago is just one example. And then there's lots of regulatory upgrades and compliance as the ever shifting world of taxation and regulatory uh, rules are put forth by different governments around the world that Sage 300 needs to support. So what's new in version 2024? Recognize that a lot of you are on slightly older versions, so we wanted to show what's been released recently. And so one of the areas of focus has been getting the project and job costing out onto the web screen. So we've added a whole bunch of the screens that you're used to seeing in the classic desktop, and those are now available on the web screens. And in addition to that, it was recently released for purchase order entry, making those job fields available in the PO module. It had been previously released in some of the other modules like AP and AR, and they're rounding that out here in the PO module as well. A huge thing that was released with version 2024 is the deployment of Financial Reporter on the web screens. So now you're able to print your financial statements, those of you that use Financial Reporter, and you can do that via the web screens. Now, good thing is all your existing templates that you've used for years will continue to work via the web screens. In the regulatory compliance area, there's been changes, of course, in the last several years with 1099s. And recently we've added some new fields into the AP vendor screen to better comply with the directives from the IRS. And we've also added support for the 1099 div form. So in addition to the 1099 MISC, and the 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation, we now have div, and then a couple years ago, we also added the interest form as well. So we have support for all of those now for 1099s. And of course, with Atrix, we have e-filing that's available because most people are required by the IRS to e-file their 1099. So we have support for that, and that's been out a couple of years. A few other things, a little more in the technical side of things. There's some subclassing that's now supported. So for customizations and some third-party development, that's really critical. Additional web APIs have been released for Canadian payroll and US payroll. And most importantly, I think the inventory control item location details, especially for those of you who have websites and want to make calls to Sage to get what inventory is on hand, that is now available. Improvements to the bank feeds using Sage Service Fabric to help get current bank information into Sage and simplify your bank reconciliations. And then again, in the compliance area, Singapore, and I'm sure everybody here has to deal with Singapore tax reports. That was sarcasm there, but that's available. So it's just an example of how Sage is working to support its global customer base. In 2025, Sage is releasing an information center. So this is a great portal, and you can access that through the web screens, and I think through the help menu as well in the classic desktop. But a portal is, indicating, hey, when has Sage released product updates, and other product documentation is available through there. There is the idea scope you can access where you can share your feature requests for Sage, and so that is being made available to everybody. Within the general ledger, there is drill down now from the chart of accounts into transaction history. So if you're looking at that chart of accounts, you can more seamlessly get in and explore the details of what comprises your balance and simplify your navigation through the system. I think the biggest thing for version 25 that was just recently released is the complete overhaul of Sage Intelligence. I know a lot of our clients are using Sage Intelligence as a reporting mechanism, and Sage has done a massive overhaul of the underlying engine that supports the system and migrated from Visual Basic to .NET, a bunch of other support as well. Stuff that you probably won't see as the average user. You'll just see some of the look and feel, but you'll certainly experience the performance enhancements and the robustness that has been upgraded to the reporting system. So that is a big win, and I think they're planning to put some feature enhancements in the not too distant future for that. So again, the key principles for the future of Sage 300 is the web deployment. Again, that's going to just make everybody's life easier as we move away from the classic desktop onto the web. Of course, simplifies the deployment for the users, and you just have to maintain one server. There's the technology and the regulatory upgrades, and the real goal is to provide a platform that all of the various third-party enhancements and all your customizations and integrations can balance off on top of. So next, we have several training opportunities that we do make available to people. So of course, we have our blog where we're constantly putting out updates and little tips and tricks on it. We have a huge collection of webinars that are pre-recorded up on our website. In fact, I did one yesterday, rounding out a series of tips and tricks on inventory control. So there's a lot. If you've got new people and you want to figure out how to do things better, take a look at our webinar page, because there's going to be a whole bunch of pre-recorded things that you can take advantage of to kind of gain insight in how Sage 300 works. And we'll be sending out emails for our quarterly web training going forward, so keep a look to your inbox on those. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton over to my colleague, Darby. Again, my name is Doug Bilderback. I'm a senior solution architect here at Equation. My contact info is on the screen, or you can certainly get a hold of me through support@equationtech.us as well.